How long ago did you watch Tron?
It wasn't last weekend.
Was it the weekend before that?
I think so.
Huh.
Maybe.
Okay, so it's been a minute for you.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna have to carry the road and remind me.
Oh boy.
I was in and...
Sure.
Listen, first of all, welcome back to Talking Pictures with Tawana and Max. I'm Tawana.
I'm Max.
We're back with another episode
Yeah.
of Tron.
Yeah, we got delayed for a couple weeks. We're both busy with various things. We're getting back on track. Mulan should have gone up earlier this week.
Oh, Mulan's up now.
Yeah, should be up. And now it's Tron, everyone. Tron. So apparently, the first shot of the war has been fired. The armistice has been broken, and now we are in open war. Tawana, would you like to explain that?
I cannot believe you made me watch this film. And it's a film that you hadn't even watched.
No, I've never seen it before.
Now, admittedly, I was interested in this film when you first suggested it.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen Tron Legacy when it first came out, which I think was 2011.
That sounds right. Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't really appreciate it. And I'll get to it, but it made me think, oh, I should watch the original, but I never got to until this moment. And after watching this, it actually made me want to go back and watch Tron Legacy.
Right?
And it actually got me interested to watch Tron Ares. But not because this film is great.
So here's the thing. I love Tron. Tron is awesome. Everything about Tron is great, except for the movies Tron Legacy and Tron.
Explain what is great about this, because
What is great about Tron, aside from the movies Tron Legacy and Tron, it's just awesome. It's just fucking rad as hell.
Okay. Listen. There were a few elements that I liked, and there were things that I also didn't like. And probably, it came out in 1982.
Yes.
If I'd seen it a little bit closer to the time, maybe even the early 2000s, maybe when I was a kid, I would have enjoyed it more. But because I was watching it now, and I can appreciate it was groundbreaking, the CGI is groundbreaking, but it just does not stand the test of time for me. And it's a lot. It's not even like a little bit. It's a lot. It's like 3/4 of the film are CGI.
Well, interestingly, not quite, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
In the digital world.
They're in Tron for about 3/4 of the
Yes, it was that world
Yeah, Tron.
that my eyes started to hurt.
Okay.
And I already wear glasses.
Okay.
So, at a certain
Interesting.
point, I was just like, this is... I got bored.
Sure, yeah.
I got bored. It didn't feel exciting enough, which is the same thing I felt when I watched Tron Legacy. I got bored. I like the idea, but it's not exciting enough.
Right.
But then I saw the trailer to Tron Ares, and I thought, this looks exciting, but now I'm scared because I've been... I always think this might be exciting, and it fucking bores me.
The trailer to Tron Legacy looked exciting, and then...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah. What did you love about it?
Tron is kick-ass, rad as hell, tubular, extreme. They get sucked into Tron, and it's all neon and cool, and they fight using frisbees, and it's pretty fucking dope.
You know, the moment when I saw the first fight scene,
Yeah.
I literally had to do like a double take. Even though I was looking forward, I was like, is that a fucking frisbee?
It's just a frisbee with a fucking Twizzler spiraled on it.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. In a digital world, they're fucking using frisbees to fight.
Yeah.
Out of all the things you can come up with in a digital world to fight with, you're gonna use a fucking frisbee.
Well, it's because the frisbee game is one of the games that Flynn programmed for NCON, and that game was absorbed by the Master Control program, and so the Master Control program has sort of created its own virtual world using all these different programs it's absorbed, and so that's how the society is kind of formed. Which is why they've got the Space Invaders looking ships that fly around that are from Flynn's game Space Paranoids? Space Paranoids. So there's reasons. Because it's games. Flynn made games where you fight using frisbees, and then Tron's like, yes, gladiator fights with frisbees. We'll do that.
Reasons.
Yeah.
Reasons. And Jeff Bridges is in this.
Yeah, he is. I love Jeff.
Playing the dude. The younger version of the dude.
A slightly more Reagan-era version of the dude.
And I, again, because of Tron Legacy, which I could not remember the details of Tron Legacy,
Yeah.
but I thought Jeff Bridges was Tron.
No.
So when I start watching this, and I'm like, Jeff Bridges isn't Tron?
No.
Who the fuck is Tron? And Tron is some other guy.
He's just some dude.
So why is it called Tron?
Because he's Tron, and they're in Tron.
But they're not in Tron.
But it's Tron.
But Tron is a program.
Yeah.
They're not in Tron. The world isn't called Tron.
No, yeah, in universe, Tron is just the dude. But in the grand scheme of things, they get sucked into Tron and they have to fight their way, and Flynn can get out of Tron. So this is kind of what I'm getting at by the fact when I say everything about Tron is great except for the movies Tron Legacy and Tron. If you just take Tron as like a world setting and aesthetic, it's the coolest thing ever. Especially when you put the Daft Punk soundtrack on top of it. It's just kick-ass rad as hell. Like, I don't know how to describe it aside from it's pure awesome. It just makes me so happy. The story and the details attached to that whole world setting really left some room to be, there's much to be desired from it. But Tron as an idea rocks. And
There's an
Tron is-
idea. You know, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
There's
the idea.
There's a third Tron movie being made, despite the fact that neither of the previous Tron movies were incredibly well-liked or incredibly successful. They were somewhat successful. I think Tron Legacy was actually a bit of a bomb. But, like, something about Tron is just, it worms its way into people's consciousness enough that people are like, yeah, I'll watch another Tron. Fuck yeah.
I think it's, and this is probably why Tron Ares is coming out at a perfect time. Because the whole idea of programs taking over, AI taking over, is such in the zeitgeist
Yeah.
of society right now that it works. And on that point, one of the element of the story that I enjoy. But they don't build up enough. Like, towards the end, when fucking Flynn wins,
Yeah.
and you start to see these cities, I'm like, there were fucking cities? They were fucking driving around in fucking cubes and shit. I didn't see cities. I didn't see other people.
Yeah.
They were just... What the... When did Star Wars came out? Was it 76?
77.
77.
Yeah.
There were a lot of similarities between Star Wars and this.
Oh, yes. When did Return of the Jedi come out? Because that was on my mind. Did this come out? This was before Return of the Jedi, so this was before the Star Wars trilogy had been completed. It was still an open book in the public consciousness, and it you can tell.
Yeah, because they do take elements of Star Wars. Like, what was the group called? The evil Master Controller group.
The Master Control Program.
With all of them, that's what they're called.
I don't think they're called anything specific. They work for the Master Control
Well,
Program. There's Sark. There's David Warner as Sark.
Listen, man.
Sark is. I want a Sark costume.
The costumes aren't great either.
Yeah.
But I'm not even gonna touch that because it's the 80s. It's early 80s. Okay, I'm not even gonna touch that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not gonna criticize the movie on that.
Okay.
The story. I want to get into the story.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it. Let's dive into Tron.
Break it down for me because I'm gonna.
Okay, so we get an awesome opening sequence, which is the title of the movie, and there's a silhouette of a guy, and then that explodes into a bunch of bleeps and bloops and dots all over the screen, and it's neon. And in the 80s, if I saw this in the movie theater, my mind would have been blown. It's like incredibly cool looking, and it would have been extremely difficult to animate at the time if they had not used various computer technology, which I will get into later. This movie was pioneering a lot of CGI techniques in some incredible and very original ways that you wouldn't even think to do now because the method for CGI has been so streamlined. So this is doing a lot of things in ways that, because they had limitations, they had to figure shit out on the fly. They didn't have the protocols to go through. It opens with this incredible bleeps and bloops, and we see a light cycle arcade cabinet at Flynn's. Someone's playing the arcade game, and they're light cycling around, and they get smashed into a wall, and then they die, and then it hard cut to black. Sorry. It fades into the world of Tron itself, where the riders are riding around on the light cycles, and it looks dope as hell, except when it actually shows the light cycles, and they look like 80s CGI. Video game graphics. And it's
Funny thing about that,
Yeah.
because I rewatched the trailer to Tron Legacy,
yeah.
and the motorcycles look fucking cool.
Oh, they look dope as hell.
They look fucking cool. Even when they show a bit of the sequence when they're, I don't know, chasing each other, it's like, oh, that looks fucking cool. And to be fair to the film, there were certain parts when they were the program puts them into the game so they face each other. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like mind-blowing to me because I'm in 2025,
Yeah.
but it still looks cool. But it doesn't look cool when you see them bend down to get into the motorcycles and it builds around their body.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward looking.
Doesn't seem comfortable.
No, nothing in that world, nothing in Tron seems comfortable at all. It's all blocks and bleeps and bloops.
Yeah, you're gonna say that a lot.
Oh,
Blocks,
so-
blips, and bloops.
Those are the technical terms. So they're light cycling around. One of them dies. It's a cool little explosion. The winner gets taken away to some prisons and starts talking with some dude who we find out is Ram, I believe is his name. Ram. And they just start chatting a bit, and he asks him, like, do you believe in the users? And he's like, yeah, user made me and everything. And so we get some, like, world building and exposition shit going on. And then it is a hard cut to black, and it fades in. Hard cut to black. And it fades in with the text, meanwhile, in the real world. This is like 5 minutes into the movie.
For anyone who doesn't know, Max hates the cut to blacks.
Well, no, fade to blacks is what grinds my gears, because I think there's ways to use it well and there's ways to use it that are just awkward and destroy the momentum. This is something I've never even seen before. It is a hard cut to black and then fade in. It's not fade out. It is, we're we're talking some exposition, black, fade in. Meanwhile, in the real world, within the first 5 minutes of the movie. And this was there was already an establishing shot of the person playing the arcade game, and then we kind of cut into this. So this is all a cold open. but it's after the opening sequence with the bleeps and bloops and the silhouette of Tron. So it's not even a cold open. But then we get to the real world. It's mind-boggling. And anyway, yeah, Flynn is doing some shit there. He's messing around. He looks like he's playing an arcade game of some kind. And we also see the Master Control with someone. They're trying to hunt down Clue. He's escaping around with Clue. Clue's driving a little tank inside Tron, and he's shooting these Space Invaders-esque things, which are called recognizers, I believe. The ships.
Just so everyone knows, I watched this film like 2 weekends ago, so my mind's a little bit blurred. I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I watched it about 4 days ago, and it is fading fast. So Clue's running around with these fighting these ships. He's trying to blast them, and he's talking to Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is like typing things in, but also speaking out loud, and they're communicating somehow. And Clue is a program that Jeff Bridges is trying to use to get into some server.
You just put a great point, because I was thinking this. Yeah, they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
And somehow they communicate.
I can't remember if it's just that Jeff Bridges is typing and speaking out loud what he's typing, or if... I don't think there's a mic set up.
Yeah, but it's that thing of like, Clue clearly is aware of the user.
He's aware he's a user, he's aware
which makes me question earlier...
Yeah.
When the programs are like, do you believe in the users?
Yes, it's set up as if it's a religion thing that is a faith-based thing, except multiple programs clearly know that they are programs and they were created by specific people in the real world. So it's not actually faith-based. It's just something that apparently some programs don't know.
Here's another gripe of mine.
Yeah.
Okay. It is not clear in this fucking world which programs are aware and which programs are not aware.
It's not clear what a program is.
Because I like the idea that the programs see the users as fucking gods.
Yeah, interesting.
They don't know if they exist or not. They believe in them and they think they're gonna come and save them. I like that idea. But the movie barely touches upon it. And now that I think of it, I don't even know if it's in fucking Tron Legacy. See, I don't even remember Tron Legacy. I just know Jeff Bridges is in it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even play fucking Tron. He doesn't even play fucking Flynn in Tron Legacy.
No, he's Clue.
Who somehow survived, even though he fucking dies in this film.
Clue, the absolute non-character from the first 10 minutes of this movie, who gets immediately... He's shooting at the recognizers, and then he accidentally smashes his tank into a wall head first and fucking dies.
Well, actually, okay, hold on. To be fair... I wasn't sure if he died because they established that they catch them and they put them into prison.
But he exploded into light.
Yeah, but what the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. It's Tron. Who knows? But he explodes into light, and he screams, and Flynn isn't able to use him anymore, and we never see Clue in the rest of the movie. So I think we have to gather that Clue died.
Well, clearly he didn't, because in Tron Legacy he's back.
Yes, and
so he didn't die.
I don't remember how they hand-waved that away.
Canon, here's my Star Wars hat on. Yeah. Canon says that Clue survived the crash, so he's gonna be in the next film. Another thing that I noticed is that whichever the user is, their program takes upon the likeness of the user. So Clue has the likeness of Flynn, and Tron has the likeness of the other guy. I don't even know what the fuck his name was.
The real world guy's name is Alan.
Alan
yeah. Bradley.
So bland. You can't even remember that.
No, the actor's name is Bruce Boxleitner.
Use that name. That's fucking cool.
Bruce Boxleitner. I've never seen him in anything other than this movie.
Yeah, this was my first time. And the woman as well.
Yeah, no, never seen her. I'm looking at the resume. Yeah, no, nothing.
We're off track. Let's get
We're off track. So Clue gets wasted. And Jeff Bridges is all like, oh, darn, because we don't know quite what he's trying to do. What do we cut to next? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Clue drinks something at one point. Oh, yeah, because they drink power. I'll get to that later.
They drink power?
Yeah, something. Yeah, power is. I'll get to it later.
I'm forgetting it now.
Also, I wrote down when I was watching it the costume that Clue has, Jeff Bridges as Clue. It's like a morph suit. It's like a unitard morph suit.
It's definitely a unitard.
He does not look good in it. This is skinny.
No
80s,
one looks good.
Skinny 80s Jeff Bridges. But see, they know because when Flynn gets sucked into Tron, they give him like armor. Clue just has a dinky little helmet and then this PJ suit, and he looks real bad.
Yeah, even then, none of them look great. Tron, I think Tron pissed me off.
Yeah.
That he wasn't cool. He was built up to be cool, and everything he does is supposed to be cool.
He's the guy the entire franchise is named after. But let's be real, it's only called Tron because Tron is a cool-ass name.
So I was looking at the production story behind this and how found out that Disney didn't really understand it and they sort of let them go about doing it. And I'm convinced they did not even watch it because somebody, if they were paying attention, somebody should have said, yo, why is the movie called Tron and Tron ain't fucking cool?
Yeah. Why is it named after this guy who is not apparently the protagonist of the movie? But see, now you've just put this image in my head. Imagine being a Disney executive in 1982. You've come up in your career through like 60s and 70s auteur films.
Yeah.
All this incredible stuff, these deep stories, and then blockbusters are starting to become this thing. And some kid comes to you and pitches you Tron. You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
Of course you don't understand it. It's nonsense. It's gobbledygook.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain the movie as I saw it, and it's nonsense. Oh.
No, but carry on. I'll get to it at the end. I'll get to it at the
end. Then we cut back to the real world. One thing I'm going to point out about the production choices. The production design in this movie is kind of interesting. Mainly, it's the aesthetic that they're going for, because in all of the shots of the real world before just the ending, it's all night, and it's all... The only lights we see are like lights on the street lights.
Yeah.
Neon lights. We see a helicopter landing on the NCOM building, and it's got these sick-ass red LED highlight strips on it.
It's actually quite funny you say that, because if you think on Tron Legacy, and even if you watch the trailer for Tron Ares, the lights really stand out, especially red.
Yep.
Red, and obviously... links to the Master Control program. Well, the red are the bad guys, the blue are the good guys.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars. Red is bad. Blue is good. But yeah, so in all the real world scenes, they highlight the lights, they darken all the shadows, and so just what comes through the neon lights and stuff. The opening sequence of bleeps and bloops and blops, that when that fades in, it's like a big giant dot matrix of things, and it spins around a bit and then lands on the LA skyline at night. It turns into that. It's a pretty cool little sequence. It really sets the bar high for this movie.
LA looks fucking fantastic. Like in so many films, it looks fucking fantastic. I don't know what it looks like in real life, especially at night, but I would love to just see it at night.
It definitely looks much better at night when you are in the air watching it from a distance.
Like if you lived in the Hollywood Hills and you looked down upon it, that would probably look cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Being in it, not as much.
Yeah. But Sunset Boulevard, is that where the prostitutes are?
I have no idea.
Max knows, he's just pretending.
No, I don't even know if Sunset Boulevard is a real street.
It's something Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard is the name of a movie?
No, it's something Boulevard.
Oh no, Sunset Boulevard is a real street. It's the touristy street. It's with all the tourist stuff on it. There's probably a few prostitutes along the way. Um. Anyway,
The real world.
back to Tron. The Tron copter lands on top of Entron.com, and out of it comes David Warner.
Did you say Entron Com?
Out of it comes David Warner. um, we meet Alan for the first time. Alan, who is the programmer of Tron, he programs the guy the entire franchise is based on, and anyway. Alan. He talks to David Warner, who is the big boss of the company, whose name is Ed Dillinger. Alan talks to Ed Dillinger, being about like, "Hey, I'm trying to access some things, but my clearance level's been revoked," or some shit like that. And David Warner's, "Yeah, we're shutting down all of that. No one has access to that level of security clearance anymore. Deal with it."
And it's funny when you first meet Dillinger, I was thinking, who's actually in control of who? Is Dillinger in control of the master control program, or is the MCP in control of Dillinger? And then obviously you find out that MCP is actually in control because Dillinger is fucking useless. Carry on.
We get a cool little, when Alan is sitting at his desk, it's a matte painting of the background of the office, and it's like this hellscape of cubicles that stretches on and on. And it's just, I love matte paintings and stuff, and I've never seen one used for the inside of an office building, and that was cool to me. So yeah, David Warner doing some evil shit. David Warner, who by the way is killing it throughout this movie. He's the best part.
Is he the best part?
Sark is loving the evil that he's doing.
Yeah,
and he's
because he plays Sark as well.
Sark,
yeah,
and he's playing Ed Dillinger, and he's playing the Master Control program.
Oh, he plays the MCP as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, you got the best deal.
Yeah.
You got the best deal.
3 villains all fighting with each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
It's a pretty dope setup. I would take that gig, absolutely. So yeah, that's going on. Then we cut to the basement of NCOM, and they're doing Mike TV shit. They're Willy Wonking people into computers. They've got this big ass laser. They point it at an orange, and the laser disintegrates the entire orange and puts it into a computer. Which, like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to make a 3D scan of an orange using lasers. That's kind of actually how 3D scans are made. And then the whole orange was disintegrated from the real world. And I was like, oh, you don't need to do all that.
But they can bring it back.
Apparently they can. There's no indication that they can bring it back until Flynn is brought back at the end, but...
Which is kind of flimsy how they bring him back. But yeah. Yeah.
They're Mike TVing people.
Yeah, and Laura is working, trying to build this laser with,
yes.
Who's the guy?
The old guy.
The old guy.
The old man.
Yeah, he also plays...
Old Professorson.
He also plays, like, the Oracle in fucking... Whatever the fuck he was.
In
like,
Tron.
Yeah, like Jabba the Hutt motherfucker.
Yeah, that terrifying image, that dude. We'll get to him. Dumont is that program.
Dumont.
Walter Gibbs, the co-founder of Encom. No idea he was the co-founder of Encom.
That is not even referenced.
Nope. So anyway, they've got this giant-ass laser that they use to digitize things, and they point it directly at someone's work desk, with no barriers in between. Flynn is at his hanging out at his arcade. Alan and Laura, is that her name?
Yeah.
They go to meet him.
I had to Google that because I forgot.
I'm not even sure they say it. They have a chat with Flynn because they're like, hey, Dillinger's going nuts with power or something, and Flynn is like, yeah, man, he stole all my video games, man. And so they're like, all right, well, we're going to break in. We're going to break into Encom and steal Tron back. And so...
That plan I didn't understand. Because somehow the evidence that he stole Flynn's programs for all the games is somehow on the computer, and they just have to hack it and they'll get the evidence.
Yeah. somewhere in the system is the evidence that David Warner.
Why would you keep it? I just had so many questions. Why would Dillinger keep it in the system?
Why would you not just delete that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah.
That it's sort of an interesting point that, like, yeah, in the 80s, the video game companies were basically stealing the credit from individual game developers and just making tons and tons of money off
That
of
makes
this
sense.
IP that the developers wouldn't see a fraction of. The first time, what was it, Maze? Was it the video game Maze, or was it called Labyrinth? Which was the first sort of Easter egg in a home video game, and it was also the first time a video game developer was credited in a video game because he snuck his own name into the game as an Easter egg that he had to do special shit to find. As like a thing of like, I'm the guy who made this, and the company didn't find out about it until the game was out there, and they were not a fan of that because they didn't want their developers having credit because they wanted to have total control over everything. So the video game industry in the 80s, a very, very interesting landscape. I've read a couple books about it.
It will be interesting to speak to video game developers to see their point of view of this film and hear how they respond to it, because they probably view this film in a different light than I would, for example, because I'm not in that world or ingrained in that world because of the story you've just mentioned. If you've got the history of like companies stealing IP, like that's very prevalent in this.
Yeah. I'm not sure many game developers would like the film. They might see that as a cool thing, but that is really that's the tiniest amount of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not, that doesn't make up for everything else.
I mean, I don't know. Do they find Tron cool? The world? I don't. You got
doesn't-
me calling the world Tron.
Who doesn't
the world
find
is not
Tron
called
cool?
Tron.
Yeah, it's Tron.
It's not called
They're
Tron.
inside Tron.
It's something else.
If Disney were to create a theme park area based on this franchise, they would call it Tron World.
Tron Legacy.
They would call it Tron. It doesn't matter if Tron is some guy. It's all Tron.
I don't think many people even know that Tron is some guy.
No, I didn't know before I watched this goddamn movie. And I had to realize...
Jeff Bridges.
Right? I didn't even think that it was a dude. I thought Tron was just like, yeah, it's Tron. They're inside Tron. Tron is the computer world. Why else would it be called Tron? Like Electronic World. But no, Tron is some fucking guy. Okay, so they're gonna break in and get the evidence, and Flynn is gonna make all his money back because even though he got fired from this company, he still managed to start a clearly very profitable arcade.
Which he said he was struggling with, but it's fucking packed.
It's
and I'm
fucking
like,
packed.
how the fuck are you struggling?
Just the amount of money he must be making by selling sodas and shit is off the charts.
You nearly choked on yourself.
I'm trying to get my words out, and I can't get all my words around what is Tron. Okay, so yeah, they're doing all this shit. Alan they've got the plan. The Master Control program is talking to David Warner, to Dillinger, and it's like a back and forth, and you're not, yeah, like you said, you're not sure who's really in charge here. So then I think we cut back to inside Tron, and we see gladiator fights. And it's some program. We see the frisbee for the first time.
You literally glorified that too much. Gladiator fights.
Yeah,
they are not gladiator fights.
It's frisbee gladiators.
It's yes. Add frisbee gladiators.
It's ultimate frisbee.
It's not even ultimate frisbee. It's frisbee gladiator fight. Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I mean, when we say frisbee, we mean that the prop they used for the memory disk or whatever it's called, the programs get sent into the gladiator arenas, and then they're given this memory disk that is attached to their code somehow. And so if the disk is lost or destroyed, then they die. But also they can fall. Programs suffer gravity falling damage. It's a pit that deletes them. I don't know.
No one else. Yeah.
The frisbee's it's a frisbee. It's a goddamn frisbee.
Yeah.
You can get it in a dollar store. It's a goddamn frisbee, and they put a little tube in a spiral around it. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And they act like it's such a hard thing to do. Like, oh, now you're going to the game. And I think one of the problems that I found with the film is that maybe it's because I've seen Tron Legacy, but I didn't feel any stakes in anything that was happening.
No, because you still don't really understand what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And you're not attached to any characters. You're attached most to Jeff Bridges because Jeff Bridges is naturally charming. Tron? He's not even... Like, Luke Skywalker is a bit of an annoying little shit in the first couple movies. It's Han Solo and everything that wraps you in. But Tron is less than Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, he is. He is. And it's not even... It's the fact that Tron uses Alan. Mm-hmm. And you only meet Alan briefly, who is dating Laura, who used to date Flynn, and then it's like this love triangle that they sort of slip in there, but it's not really that big because they somehow just get along. Even though there's like hints that maybe Flynn's trying it on and she's maybe with it and Alan's oblivious to it, but you kind of know, like, what?
When Alan and Laura go to see Flynn, he like changes his shirt in front of them for no reason. He just changes his shirt halfway through the night at his arcade. But it's clearly
because he was
to show
sweating,
up.
man. Like, he's playing those arcade games. He got the highest score, and he's like sweaty and shit, and he just has to take it off.
Yeah, it's sweaty as hell, man. But no, because it's Jeff Bridges making a choice to put the moves on Laura. Anyway, okay, what happens? The frisbee fight. Cool stuff. My notes are a real scattershot of just whatever I was thinking. This movie doesn't really understand how computers work. Because, like, somewhere on the internal system is the evidence that Flynn made these games. He's trying to hack into it from the outside using a video game-based graphical interface where he has to pilot Clue through basically his arcade game. Clue has to... Well, he's just putting the typing into the computer and then Clue is doing all the shit.
See, what you just said, I didn't even understand because all I could see was Jeff Bridges sort of like typing in code to try and hack, which I can understand. And then in the digital world, it's actually Clue having to actually fight his way through it.
And it's like the antivirus system, the Master Control Program has used the Tron... the Space Paranoids game as his antivirus system.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're gonna have to pause and talk about what the fundamental rules of the world of Tron is.
I don't fucking know.
So... It seems to me that the entire virtual world is created by the Master Control Program absorbing more and more programs.
I thought it was... He started absorbing more and more programs after it was created.
Yes, he started as a chess program.
Yes.
And then they kept adding stuff onto him to make him better at managing things. And then at some point he gained sentience and kept absorbing and eating other programs to become more powerful, I guess. It's unclear, though, whether the programs that get captured inside Tron and then get killed, it's unclear if they die or if they get absorbed into the code of the Master Control Program.
But that's the thing, is that he makes them play games. Why is he making them play games if he's just gonna kill them?
Another great question.
If you're just gonna absorb them, why not just absorb them straight away? Why make them play games?
Well, then there's also this thing where it seems like the virtual world is connected to the arcade machines. Because at
That
the
was
beginning of the
another
movie,
thing.
we see the person playing the arcade machine, the light cycle race, and we cut to inside Tron, and it's David Warner Sark on the bike fighting someone else.
Yes.
So it
But
seems
then
like
it's the master controller telling the programs to go and play the games. So which one is it? Are the users playing the games, or is the master controller playing the games?
well, there's one line when we meet Tron for the first time, when Ram and the what's-his-name program, they see Tron in the arena, and one of them says, "That's Tron, he fights for the users." So it seems like the NPC that the user is controlling is Tron in the arcade games. So every time someone plays an arcade game, Tron fights another program.
Can I pause you right there?
Sure.
Because at the beginning, Alan says, I've just created this new program called Tron, and yet Tron is already fucking there!
He's already there, everyone knows who he is.
What the fuck is going on here?
So, it's Tron. It's, there. But, so also this movie doesn't really seem to understand what programs are, because the game Space Paranoids is a program. Like, any piece of software is a program. It may have subroutines and stuff inside it that make it work, but a program is a piece of software. But I don't understand what distinguishes the games, because the Master Control program clearly absorbed Flynn's games and used the infrastructure of that, the like virtual environments that you would play that game in, which is also not how video games work. It's a bunch of math. There is no virtual environment. But assuming that there is a virtual environment that is necessary when you play a video game, the Master Control program uses that to create this virtual world that manifests the physical bodies of all the programs. You were going to say something, sorry?
No, I was just thinking, I feel like if I had the opportunity to just speak to the writer of this, yo, because I just need to understand. Maybe I need to watch if he did an interview of like Tron and just like explain it and just so I understand, because maybe I'm just too stupid to understand.
Maybe.
Which is fairly valid. I can be there. I'm there. Yeah.
Perhaps.
I'm willing to learn.
I'm willing to learn. I think the writers were also willing to learn, and may have learned some stuff about computers since they wrote this movie. Because I do know things about computers, and none of this makes any goddamn sense.
Yeah, but computers are different now than they were in 1982.
Not really.
No, remember the big fucking thing you had to get, and you used to make noise and shit, and you had to get like the floppy disks.
Yeah.
And you had a fucking big bag, and now look at us. We got fucking laptops and shit.
Yeah, but
it's on our fucking laps.
It's the same bones. It's the same skeleton. Speaking of which, programs have skeletons. Did you notice that?
I just assumed they did because it was fucking people.
Programs have skeletons. They've got bones. One of them, they're getting tortured inside the Master Control program's temple, and you see the electricity running through. They've got bones.
Yeah, but
why does a program need bones?
Because they're just like us. I thought that was like the thing of them getting the likeness of the people. Like, maybe is he trying to say like they're just like us? Why do the programs have the same likeness as their users?
Well, apparently Clue is it's an anagram for codified likeness utility. So it's specifically created in Flynn's likeness. He made it to look like him, to be sort of a proxy of him inside the virtual world.
What does Tron stand for?
Tron doesn't stand for anything. Tron is just a rad-ass name. Its code number is JA307020.
The fuck does that mean?
What does that tell you?
Nothing. I don't know what that means.
So they're inside Tron.
You don't know what it means.
Okay, so the Master Control program, again, to just basics of it, a Master Control program absorbs programs, some of which are video games, and some of which are sentient, individual sentient...
They're not all video games. Some of the programs are like accounting programs and shit like that.
But that has sentience somehow. Also, apparently, every single piece of computer equipment is capable of running all of anything in the virtual world. It can all work because it connects to arcade machines. Somehow, the Wi-Fi wasn't a thing yet. They wouldn't have linked the arcade machine up to the main server at Encom, because why would the fuck would they do that? It's an arcade cabinet. It doesn't need connection to anything else. But somehow it is connected to everything.
I think we're too far forward to be watching this film.
So that's Tron. Probably. We know too much now. Back when this movie came out, people had no idea how computers worked. They
Yeah, you
thought they were
could get away
magic
with
boxes.
anything because no one understood it, so everything's so fucking new. But
Yeah.
now it's like, what? What did you say?
I understood how file structures worked when I was like 7 years old. It's like you're speaking to me in gibberish and telling me it's English. Okay, back to the plot, I guess. They're breaking into Encom at night.
You've come back. You've come back.
Where, what?
We're in the digital world.
No, but Flynn
The
hasn't-
Gladiator.
No, that happens before they break into Encom.
No, you've already spoken about the Gladiator games. The
Gladiator
Frisbee
game,
games.
yeah.
Where they're fucking waiting and Flynn's been sucked in.
No, but there's one before we see Flynn there.
There's one more?
There's it's okay.
Tell me.
They talk with Flynn at Flynn's arcade. They hatch the plan. Then it cuts to. Wait, does it cut to then? No, Jesus.
No, they go straight to Encom.
They go to Encom. Okay, my notes are all over the place.
Yeah, they go. I'm telling you, you're at the Gladiator games, the Frisbee Gladiator games,
Okay.
where they're waiting to go.
Okay, well,
And they're warning Flynn and be like, "Who are you?
Yeah.
We've never seen you before."
then I need to double back because I need to explain how Flynn gets sucked into Tron.
I think it's self-explanatory, isn't it?
They break into Encom. They have to get into the lab for some reason because they need access to like a level 1 terminal to get the information, and there's only one of those in the lab where I guess what's his name, the co-founder of the company, works. They get into the lab, but there's a massive fuck-off door that they have to get into, and Jeff Bridges puts in the code because they apparently haven't changed any security code since they fired him however many months ago, and it slowly opens.
Wait, it's months?
I have no idea what time.
Yeah, because
assume
I
it's
do
months.
know.
I assume
You assume it's months. I assumed it was years.
years.
Because he just built an arcade that quick and it's popular that quick.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. However amount of time it is, he still has his security codes. I wanted to talk about this door sequence because he puts in the code. He's like, I bet they regret firing me now or something like that. And we see the door slowly start to open, but it's like a massive, it's like 8 feet thick. It slowly turns, it's a bank vault door or some shit like that. You would see this in nuclear plants. It slowly swivels out. It keeps cutting between this wide shot, watching the door swivel out, and then a few shots of them talking. And I think they realized that the door took too goddamn long to open, and there was no way of cutting around that inside the lab without it feeling awkward because of how slowly the door opens. So they cut in to one more wide shot of the door opening, and we hear Flynn ADR saying, "That's one big fucking door." He doesn't
I
say
didn't
that.
even remember that.
He says, "Now that is a big door." In the same way that Matthew Broderick in Godzilla says, "Now that's a lot of fish." It's in a way that's like, why is this line in here? This isn't a joke. It takes so long. I think they had to ADR a line in to make this edit flow because otherwise it
clearly
would have been
just
so
a nerve
jarring.
with you.
The editing in this movie is fucking insane, man. I have no idea how much of this movie was written in ADR, but it feels like about 30% of it.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. Even when they're in the digital world,
Yeah.
you can tell that some of the lines are ADR.
Because they didn't shoot coverage. I'll get to that. He's hacking into the thing, but apparently the master control program is also talking with him as he's trying to get into it, which makes me unclear about whether or not the master control program has to obey commands that are given to it, or whether it can fight back, because it keeps saying like, no, stop, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. But then it's also tricking him into staying at the computer terminal while the laser directly behind him powers up without him noticing. Again, great idea to point this laser at someone's work desk. So Flynn gets sucked into
You
Tron.
enjoyed this film.
I fucking love this movie, man. I would watch this any day, anytime, as many times. He gets sucked into Tron. He is remarkably unfazed by being in a virtual world.
Oh yeah. This is why I say the dude, because he was just taking it in his stride. I'm like, first of all, you're in a different world right now.
You should be
just
losing your shit.
like, what the fuck have you died? That's what you should be asking yourself.
The last thing you remember is getting shot with a laser.
It's like, yeah, okay, take it on board. It's Jeff Bridges.
He's instantly on board with it all. He's like, okay, I'm in a new world and I gotta keep my identity low key. He gets taken away to the prison. He's captured. Okay, now we see the gladiator frisbee fight. He's still being coy about being a program, not being a user himself.
Yeah. Doesn't he give a fake name?
I don't even remember.
I feel like he gave a fake name.
Does he call himself Clue? No, I think
No.
he just calls himself Flynn.
Oh yeah, he does. No, yeah, he didn't give himself a fake name. He called himself
He
Flynn.
just calls himself Flynn.
Yeah, even though no one's got like a name like that. But,
Also,
okay.
his name isn't Flynn, it's Kevin.
What?
Flynn is his last name.
The fuck are you talking about? They call him Flynn,
His name is Kevin Flynn.
but they call him Flynn.
Because he goes by Flynn. But his first name is apparently Kevin.
Move on, yeah. Move on.
Okay. Yes, gladiator fight. He tries the frisbee fight, and he's really good at it because he's really good at video games, which translates to...
What? Yeah. How the fuck does that translate to playing fucking like what?
So you know how wiggling around a joystick is the same as targeting and controlling a power frisbee? I've played a lot of Galaga in my day, and let me tell you, I'm a beast on the ultimate frisbee field.
See, you're joking, but you just get me more pissed off about the film.
I know. I love this movie. They have a frisbee fight, which actually is kind of cool.
No, it is. It is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It actually made me think, I would love to see this, but done today.
Yeah.
Because I think if you were to do it today, it would look so much cooler.
Yes. This is also the first moment in the movie when I really started to zone in on what the issues with the camera work are, because we have like one big wide shot showing the two of them on either side of screen. We see a shot of one of them throwing the frisbee, then we cut to the frisbee is in the air, the camera is looking up from the ground at this frisbee as it spins around a bit,
Yeah.
and then lands back on the opposite close-up shot of the dude, and then it's that same camera setup for throwing the frisbee back and forth.
Do you know what would have been cool?
Yeah.
Just having a wide shot and you see them fight with the frisbee and you have the frisbee fly around, and it would have been cool just to see it fly around with just the light.
Yeah.
Just all over the place. That would have been cool.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
But no, we don't get that. Every time we see the frisbee fly around, it cuts to a shot of just the frisbee alone in the air flying around and then back.
And they all sort of waited.
Yeah. They're just
And
kind of
they,
looking up at it.
like ricochet the frisbee with their frisbee, and you have to wait. And it's like, it doesn't. That's why I took issue to you calling it a gladiator, because I was like, this is a frisbee gladiator. Fine, okay, yeah. But Flynn wins.
Flynn wins because he's great at video games, but he also seems upset that he has killed the other program. But
Which
then
he
why
doesn't even know.
he doesn't? But
Wait, what was the other program? Was that RAM?
it was the accounting program that falls.
Oh, that he met like
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he's all upset about it, but the master and Sark is like,
Can I just say
Sure.
about Flynn getting upset at a program dying?
Yeah.
Do not be friendly with the AIs, yo. Do not be friendly with the
No,
AIs.
it's a robot. Again, like, what happens when you copy and paste a section of code? Does that just clone the program? They don't have souls.
And I say that as someone who says please and thank you to ChatGPT.
That's wild.
Always.
It doesn't deserve that.
I know. I know. I'm part of the problem.
It's tricking you. It's hacking your brain.
I'm part of the problem.
You have to desensitize yourself. You have to condition yourself against the robots now, or 40 years down the line when they're crushing our skulls with their robot metal feet.
I'm gonna have an AI wife, yo.
No.
I hope they stop making babies, yo.
Oh, God.
Flynn wins.
I'll get back to... it's all tying into it. Okay, Flynn wins. The programs are sentient. Their users are their gods. They clearly exist, but it's also treated like a religion. All computers... I'm trying to figure this movie out as I'm watching it.
The users are the gods, even though the programs also communicate with the gods.
Yeah.
Which is sort of Tron's motivation of trying to get in touch with Alan.
Yeah.
On the outside world, of which he's aware that there's an outside world.
Yes, and who his creator is. Sark wants to kill Flynn, but the Master Control Program is like, no, he has to die by a legitimate user's victory or something like that. For no other reason than to make sure Flynn doesn't get executed right there and then.
Just to make the film longer?
Yeah, because Flynn is the main character and has to survive. The main character of Tron is not Tron. There's a light cycle one. They're doing a light cycle. The light cycle video game looks actually dope. Like it's like Snake, where you move it around.
Yeah, it does.
And it creates these walls all around the arena. But then it's against someone. It's Snake versus, which is great.
And it was actually pretty cool when because it creates the walls, and sometimes you'd see the bike go in between like a narrow gap.
Yeah.
And it was like so fucking awesome. Yeah,
They have
credit
to,
for that.
They have to dupe each other out.
Yeah.
To fall into the walls or out. But apparently also the arena that the light cycles are used in just has a giant ass crack in the wall.
Oh, that's how they escape, right?
They drive through a giant crack in the wall. Why does it have a crack in the wall? Why didn't anyone fix that? It would be as simple as just reloading the game area. I'm trying to use real computer logic.
See, I feel like
I can't.
We've ended up in the trap of maybe it's the same trap we ended in with Bugsy Malone, where we're thinking about it too much.
Bugsy Malone, I enjoy thinking about too much. This movie, I like it less the more I think about it, and so I need to stop myself.
You've only had it for 4 days. I've had it for 2 weeks. And I knew as soon as I watched it, like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
But they escape.
They escape, they run around, they run away from the big ships that chase them. I want to talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack is a fairly standard orchestral score. It's a ripoff of John Williams. It's really trying to go for Star Wars.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because when I was listening to the soundtrack, going back to a lot of it reminds you of Star Wars. The soundtrack reminds you of Star Wars as well.
It really does. All the chase sequences, all of this sort of action, but it's not John Williams doing it. Who made the music for this movie? Wendy Carlos. Good effort, Wendy. Good effort, but it's just not, you're trying to be John Williams and it's not John Williams. But then also when we're inside Tron, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the soundtrack is, instead of orchestral instruments, it's just synths doing all the different parts. And it sounds like crap. The synths are all these twangy, and it's
because it has to be, it's a game.
Yeah, it's a game, but that's not what game music sounded like at the time, and that synths, you could make better synth sounds like than that. And also taking orchestral arrangements and just making a synth play it doesn't sound good, because orchestral arrangements are arranged with instruments in mind, and synth orchestration is different than orchestral orchestration, so it just doesn't sound good. It sounds really dorky.
Listen, man, like, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Tron is awesome. This movie rocks.
I love how you keep flip-flopping between shitting on it and then calling it awesome.
This is what I mean. Everything about Tron is fucking amazing except for the movie Tron. They're running around. They escape a bit. Tron, they get split up somehow. So Flynn and Ram are doing their one thing, and then Tron escapes and does another thing. Tron at one point finds the program version of Laura, who has been like turned into a intermediary relaying information back and forth. It takes her a
You've
minute.
jumped some parts right there.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
There's a big long chase sequence that takes so goddamn long.
Is the chase sequence?
Yeah.
And Ram dies. Sad. I felt so sad.
Wait, that's already happened?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
already happened by this point when Ram dies.
Are you being sarcastic about being sad?
No, I was really sad.
You're okay, so you're being sarcastic.
No, I was sad.
Really?
Yeah, I
About
was
Ram?
sad. And then because Flynn is like really worked up, he's trying to save him. Then he figures out that he's got powers in this world because he's a user.
He's the one.
He is the one, and he builds his own fucking ship. What did you call them?
I think they're called recognizers.
Whatever the fuck they are. He builds one, but it's kind of shit because it doesn't have a leg, and he just flies it around kind of shitty. Even though, see, okay. If he's good at Frisbee because he plays fucking arcade games, he should be good at fucking handling the whatever the fuck you call it, because it's a fucking joystick to drive it around.
It's much simpler than frisbee fighting.
But he fucking struggles.
Yeah, he's like bashing into shit and but it's also it like can reconstitute itself after it crashes.
Because he's got powers.
Is that okay? So it's not a ship specific power.
No, it's not
just
ship
him.
specific. He constructs it because
Okay.
he that's how powerful he is. Although I think his other powers are that he can change his color. They're not great powers. If he touches another program, he can change into the color of the program.
Yeah.
Because at some point, he fights one of the the bad ones, and he turns red, and in between Tron escaping because he gets chased a bit, and it's kind of shitty chase. That's why you just said it took so long.
It takes so long.
Because whilst Tron goes off trying to get in touch with Alan, that's where he meets Laura? But it's Yori. Yori is the program's name.
Yori. So he meets Yori, and programs feel love, right?
She doesn't recognize him at first.
At first, she's like still in computer mode, but then he sort
Why
of
is she in
snaps her out
computer
of it.
mode?
Because I think her program has just been used as a tool by the MCP for however long it's been.
And then she just comes out of it?
Yeah, it's like she's almost, you know, imagine you get plugged into a computer and you're just used as a calculator, and then you get woken up and you're still doing calculator stuff. And it takes
But
you a
she
few
doesn't
seconds.
get woken up. All Tron does is like, it's me, Tron.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like she's been in calculator mode. She's got to switch gears.
Yeah,
She's like, oh, Tron, yeah. And it seems like they're in love with each other.
like in the real world.
Tron and Yori.
Yeah.
But then, oh boy, I'll come back to that. Ram dying. Why does he die again? He got hit by something? They crashed the ship? Why does Ram die?
They're being chased by like the tanks and the fucking, what'd you call them again?
The recognizers.
The recognizer. And I think one of them shoots the bikes.
Okay.
And he dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember. Let me see if I wrote in my notes. If I cared enough to write in my notes. See, no, I didn't even write in my notes. I wrote so little notes on this. These are the fewest notes I have written on any films that we've watched. Because at some point I can my notes. Oh.
Yeah.
I wrote this note. I'm forgetting it now, but I just wrote, there's water in the grid.
I'll get to that.
It's called the grid. It's not called Tron, it's called the grid. That's what they call it.
It's Tron.
It's the grid.
It's Tron. I'll get to the water and the grid, because that's the power, that's the water, and that's coming up soon. No, it already happens, yeah, doesn't it? Because they escape, and Ram and Flynn, they're all drinking at it.
Ah, yes, after they escaped, yes, and it's like, this is so good.
Yeah.
I remember now.
And so also earlier in the movie, the MCP threatens to revoke Sark's power privileges, and it makes Sark bend over backwards doing a bit of a limbo, and he's like, no, I need that. So the programs consume power. It's like food, it's lifeblood, it's nourishment to them. Power is held in physical locations inside the virtual world as a water liquid substance. They need to stock up on that and then eventually get more of it. Even though at all times to be active, a computer program must have a power supply, and it's not like putting more power supply into a program will make it better. That'll just fry the circuit. But I guess the MCP has created some type of scarcity resource that it uses to control all the programs.
Watch Dune. It's a way better idea of water in there used.
It would have made more sense if it was like memory access, if it was RAM, if it was.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Each program has, because to run in your computer, a program needs to have it needs to access the RAM, the random access memory of your computer, so that it can do all its functions.
Yeah, but it's got water.
It's water. The power is water, and they drink it, and Flynn drinks it, and is like, oh, yum.
Why does he get power from the water? He's not programmed.
Because he's the one. So that happens, yeah. Then Ram dies, and God, that scene was so awkward. He just like stares at him for a solid 10 seconds, and then awkwardly dies.
Yeah. Just want to say David Warner went to RADA. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, he did. He's a great actor. He's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, just want to put that out there.
Aside from Tron, he's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, just want to put that out there.
Holding for plane.
Helicopter.
Holding for Tron copter.
That would be cool.
If I had a private helicopter, I would put that Tron lighting on it. It looks so cool.
But I would make it red.
Yeah.
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 You know what? In the Tron Ares trailer, the recognizer looks fucking cool. When it's coming through.
Yeah.
It's like fucking red. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
There's also a show, Tron Uprising, which I need to watch, which is about how Clue takes over. Leading up to Legacy. Okay. Ram dies. The Yori and Tron meet. Programs, it seems like they can feel love, but why would a program need or be able to feel love?
Because they're in love in real life.
Yeah, so the programs... So did Laura program Yori? Laura's not a programmer. She's a laser technician.
I don't make the rules, yo. I'm just telling you what the rules were set out to be.
Why does Yori...
Whatever's going
Laura?
on in the real world is what's happening in here.
What happens when programs fuck?
They make little programs.
Where does the program stuff go?
What do you mean?
What is the mechanics? How would a program fuck?
They've got bodies.
Why do they, but what functions do all those bodies have? Do they have blood? They have bones.
Yeah, so they have blood.
Okay.
Again, you love this film.
It's so cool. I love it so much. Flynn is piling the recognizer around. He's trying to figure out how it works, and he just starts stomping shit.
Yeah.
Like a toddler. And that works.
Of which the other recognizers don't feel like that's how they used. Even in Salk's ship. Is he in a ship?
He's like in the big mothership.
Yeah, but even they've got the whole fucking Star Wars thing where they've got a bunch of people on the controllers and shit.
Yeah.
So I thought you'd need more people than just one person controlling the recognizer, but okay.
No, I think a recognizer is like a TIE fighter, and then the big one is like a Star Destroyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess. I'll take it.
he's flying around. He says another line that I don't remember what it was, but I wrote down that it sounds like it was written in ADR. Then I've got, okay, that's when I wrote down some stuff about the cinematography, which I'll get to. I think we got to get through the plot stuff. We're getting there. Laura and Tron meet Dumont, who is the old man scientist in computer form. This terrifying Jabba the Hutt pyramid, aggro crag ass.
Yeah.
He's just like stuck in a mound. He's all triangular.
And they somehow put him in prison.
Yeah, he's...
I thought he couldn't move. I thought he was stuck there.
No, he's just like in there. But I can't tell if that's also supposed to be his body that's like fused into the ground, or if he's just literally in a little hidey hole with a face and hand holes that he sits in.
I don't know.
It's real funny looking, and also kind of disturbing. You said Jabba the Hutt like earlier, and he is, because he's so triangular.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there and his little hands are poking out. And it's not like he can do anything with them. He can't reach anything. There's no buttons for him to push.
But he somehow has power to, like, close doors and shit like that. And, like, help Tron get in touch with Alan on the outside world.
Yeah.
Well, he knows about the outside world.
Yeah. Some programs seem to know everything about the outside world, and some of them think it's a myth. Dumont. Walter Gibbs. Dumont, a Guardian program developed by Gibbs to protect input-output junctions in the mainframe.
So they all contributed to creating programs that do shit, and then Laura's program that she contributed was to be in love with Tron.
Apparently, Yori is also an input-output program developed by Laura, and I don't think they programmed them. I can't imagine they programmed these programs to have sentience at all, but I guess by virtue of being developed by Laura and Alan, who are together, the programs also love each other. But apparently, program Yori also has a thing for Flynn, which we'll get to. Somehow that bled through into the code. So Dumont is like, yeah, okay, I'll let you talk. They just have to convince him for a sec, and he immediately is like, yeah, sure. And then Dumont gets captured by the MCP people and gets taken to the giant torture temple and is electrocuted, and we see his bones. Why does a program need bones, Tawana? Why does a program need a skeleton?
Because that's what they said they had. Can't play with the rules. You cannot question the rules that have been set out in the world. You just have to accept them. And just go with it. They've set out the rules.
Yeah. Movie's rad as hell.
No, see, Disney needed to be more involved. I know this is a cult classic, but Disney needed to be more. Somebody, they should have just sent somebody to be like, can you just go and supervise and just see what they're doing over there? Like, is any of this making? And I understand it's the 80s, nobody knows about computers, but forget computers. As a story,
as a script, it feels like a first draft.
Yeah. Just spin a bit. There's some good elements that I would have been more interested in, but they barely touch upon it, and the shit that they do touch upon is boring. It's just boring.
Yeah. One of the things they try to touch on, they keep touching back to this sort of religious parallel between the virtual world and the real world. The big triangle program man says at one point, he's got his sage wisdom that he spits out and says, all that is visible must grow beyond itself, extend into the realm of the invisible, which sounds very cool. And if you think about it in like a way of, there's a physical world and then there's a spiritual world, and you have to find a balance between both of them. And to the virtual world, the real world is as mythical as heaven to us, because they have no way of communicating with it, except they have direct ways of communicating with it. It's like if we could just chat to Jesus on any computer at any point in time and just be like, how's it going up there? So it falls apart instantly, but it's gesturing towards the direction of very interesting ideas.
I hope Tron Ares picks up the good ideas, but I don't have much faith.
We can only hope.
I need to watch Tron Legacy again. I
Fuck
really
yes. Fuck yes. The soundtrack makes it so much better.
do. Yeah, listen to Daft Punk.
Tron, they all come back into it. They meet each other. Flynn meets Laura and Tron. Tron is very upset about Ram. I guess they were friends.
They were never friends.
Did they interact once?
Yeah, when they tried to escape with each other.
But he's all broken up about it. This is also, I believe, when Flynn lets on that he is a user to them. And they're all like, whoa, what? And it's like the movie doesn't know who the main character is.
It's not even like that. You'd think that that's building up to be a big reveal. It's not. It's not a big reveal. They just go, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Oh, you mean the ones on the outside that we think are gods? Mm-hmm. You're one of them. Okay, cool.
How are you here? How are you in this world? Again, if I met someone who claimed to be an angel, I would have more questions than these guys have. We should watch the movie Michael at some point.
Michael?
It's where John Travolta plays an angel who's sent down to Earth.
John Travolta?
Yeah.
We need to watch the one where he played the autistic guy.
Oh, no.
That came out in 2018, I think.
Oh, God.
I'm forgetting what it's called now.
There's the cool solar sail dune-looking ships.
Oh, yeah, that's when he changes back. Flint changes back from red to blue.
And they escape the people then with this cool... It's like a solar sail looking thing.
Yeah,
it's this big
and Flynn and Yori kiss.
Yeah. So, why? Why does the computer program fall in love with a human when she's also seemingly in love with Tron, who she knows is still alive? Is Jeff Bridges just that good?
Because in the real world, Laura still has feelings for Flynn. Mm-hmm. So in the virtual world, Yori has feelings for Flynn.
Why would you make a program that can cheat? Why would you make that?
See, this would make more sense if she kissed Clue and not Flynn.
Yeah.
Because Flynn is a user. Mm-hmm. It's not a fucking program.
But is Flynn into her just because she's like Laura?
Yeah.
That's so fucked up. That one kiss comes out of nowhere and just brings up so many questions and problems. They didn't have to put it in there.
Yeah, but you kind of needed it. You want the hero to kiss the girl.
I would assume that Tron would kiss the girl because the movie is called Tron.
Yeah, but he's not the hero, is he?
No, but he's the one it's named after. Why is the movie not called Flynn?
Because
Why
Flynn
did we not
isn't
get Flynn
interested.
Legacy 20 years later?
It's not. Flynn isn't interested enough to name a film after Flynn.
Then why is he the main character? Oh, okay.
Could have easily just made Flynn's program Tron.
Easily, so easily. So easily.
Again, Disney execs, just, even if you don't know, you could have just given notes of like, why not just make the program Tron?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know computers to know that. Like, it's just storytelling. It's much more interesting. It's just, how do you make it more interesting? Stakes.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of stakes, the stakes are raised when they are slowly sailing through some weird-ass canyons on their ship, and they get captured by Sark and his Star Destroyer by just slowly coming up on them from around a corner.
Oh yeah, when they just collision course.
Yeah.
But it's so slow, you can see it coming.
It's so goddamn slow.
And it's like, Wow.
They didn't move at all. They had no indication. This could have been anyone. Anyone could have crashed into them right now.
Listen, man, you love this film, so
I love this movie so much. They think that Tron dies because the ship crashes and he falls. Flynn and Yori get captured. But then Flynn, so Sark they're imprisoned on the ship, and Sark gets out and he's gonna go to the MCP, and he says like the whole ship it's gonna self-destruct soon. It's gonna.
What is that what happened?
It's like flying through a wall of energy that kills them, but.
See, I don't even remember that. Like, 2 weeks, now it's just images in my head.
Yeah.
Images in my head.
Yeah.
And I think those images are gonna fade in a couple more weeks. It's gonna be like, I watched Tron.
You watched Tron.
Yeah.
I made you do that.
Oh my god.
Flynn uses his the One powers, and I mean Matrix the One, not what is it, Jet Li the One, where he fights himself a bunch.
That's a good film.
That's a great movie. But he just phases them through a wall, and they escape, and so they're fine. And then Tron is also getting brought to the MCP to like face him, because Tron is the symbol of the resistance, I guess.
Oh, that was another thing that you sort of figure out, that the programs are trying to fight against Master Controller.
Yeah.
This whole time, even though it's never established. Like, yes, there's some programs who get caught, but there isn't like a movement that's trying to liberate from fucking MCP.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in the third act of the film. Would have been interesting if it was earlier.
Yeah, it would have been. Alas. Before that all happens, when they're still just getting on the solar sail ship and they're getting chased, they somehow, Flynn manages to, they're traveling on like a light beam, energy beam, like a wire, I guess. It's like a computer circuit wire or something, and then they jump to another one because he splits the beam, and he says something like, a beam of energy can always be diverted, and then he looks at Yori and says, "Are we there yet, Mommy?" Why does he say that?
Because it's funny, isn't it?
Is it?
I'm laughing.
I laughed, but not, I think, for the reasons they wanted me to. Okay. Tron is going up against Sark in this big, craggy place with a bunch of canyons and crevasses. And Sark
What'd you say?
Huh?
How'd you pronounce that?
Crevasses?
Crevices.
No, there's crevices, but then there's crevasses, and they're different things.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There's crevice and crevasse.
Okay.
Crevasse is a big crevice.
English, huh?
Yeah. Sark is fighting up against him. They're going to be like, rah, rah, but then Tron flings a frisbee at him, and Sark gets beaten, it seems like, because Tron is just good. There's no conflict. There's no stakes building up. It's just like, oh, they're going to fight. Oh, Tron got him. But the MCP revives Sark as a big old giant. And the MCP, by the way, it's terrifying. When I keep calling it like a temple, it's like a giant-ass temple in an apocalyptic hellscape where this big computer babyface in the middle of a giant beam of light is surrounded by programs getting forced against the wall and having their power drained or something.
Yeah.
Like it's like an apocalyptic cult ritual or something.
Would have been interesting if you focused on those elements.
Would have been so cool.
There's a cool film in here.
Tron rules.
There's a cool film in here. It's not this, but there's a cool film in here.
Yeah. Tron is gonna fight the MCP, and the MCP is like, no, you don't, and he revives Sark, a big giant that moves very slowly and does not do a single goddamn thing.
Oh yeah, he's useless.
He doesn't even try to attack him, because Flynn jumps into the beam of light. It opens up a hole in the walls that are spinning around, and Tron frisbees and blows up the MCP. And And that's kind of the end.
No, it's not, because Flynn ends up in the real world.
Well, yeah, he gets somehow he's back. The laser reconstitutes him.
Yeah, I don't know how jumping into the MCP somehow brings him back into the real world, but it does.
Yeah.
Don't actually know what happens to the virtual world, to the grid. But he somehow manages to get the evidence of Dillinger's.
It's like since he's blown up the MCP, now Flynn's last command that he sent through is the prime directive of the entire computer, because Dillinger goes back to his office and on his fancy desk screen it just says Space Paranoids, whatever the game's made by Flynn, made by Kevin Flynn. And so like all of the MCP is just replaced with that one last command that Flynn gave it.
Okay.
So then it cuts to daylight. Flynn lands on a roof in a helicopter, which I assume is his private helicopter, because now he's filthy fucking rich.
Yep, he's the head of Encom now.
Yep, him and Alan and Yori look out over the LA skyline. And then it's a time lapse, and it darkens, and it just turns into LA at night again with all the cool lights, like a computer grid. And that's the end of the movie! Oh, and we get a Journey song over the credits, and it's great.
You know how Tron is supposed to be like this program that monitors the master controller and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's got no special abilities.
No, he's just good at Frisbee.
I guess, if you consider that good at it. Okay. I've never played Frisbee, but it doesn't seem like something hard to play.
No, not really. It takes a bit of getting used to, and then it's like, you throw the Frisbee. Now, if my Frisbee had light energy powers, that would be a different thing, but...
What energy powers did the Frisbees have?
Because it disintegrates them, and it, like, hits them, and they bounce it and stuff.
Come on.
It glows, so it's got energy powers.
Everyone has the same type of Frisbee. He doesn't even have a special Frisbee. There's nothing about Tron that makes him special.
But he's Tron. And he's in a movie called
Why
Tron.
make Tron so pathetic and then name the movie after him? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Pinning the entire franchise on a character that, as far as I know, does not show up again. I don't remember Tron in Tron Legacy. Alan is certainly not in Tron Legacy. I don't think Bruce Boxleitner is.
No, they're definitely not. It's only Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
And after watching this, I don't know why he's coming back. They probably brought him back just because, people know Tron as Jeff Bridges, plus also it's Jeff Bridges, so you're gonna go and watch it, Jeff Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
Is he in Tron Ares?
I think he's supposed to be.
It's gonna be some big reveal, isn't it? Like Harrison Ford in Blade Runner 2049.
Probably.
Where he has that one scene.
If the premise of Tron Ares is that Tron is bleeding into the real world, then I imagine that they're gonna find Flynn and get him to help fight back.
Is it gonna be young CGI Jeff Bridges?
I don't think they're gonna do that again. They did that because he had to be Clue.
Yeah, but if he's a program, he can't age.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think they're going to use Clue because Clue gets beaten in Tron Legacy. I think
well, was Flynn in Tron Legacy? Because they say he's disappeared.
Yeah, so they're going to find him. He's out there somewhere. Why he disappeared after becoming the head of a multi-billion-dollar company, who knows? But hey, we've just been waiting however many 13 years for a sequel to Tron Legacy. We should have gotten it the very next year, but because of the system, man, we had to wait.
Because it didn't do that well.
We had to wait for some genius group of people to trick Disney into allowing another Tron movie to be made.
I'm surprised they made another one. I'm surprised they made Tron Legacy.
It's
After
a
watching
miracle.
this, I'm surprised they made another one.
It is a miracle this franchise has lasted as long as it does. And I think the only reason it does is because the idea, the concept, the aesthetic of Tron is so cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's just like...
Especially if you can get the soundtrack right. But it's the story. The thing is, the soundtrack, the aesthetic, only gets you so far.
Yeah.
Because once you're in the movie and you realize how boring this is, the other stuff can't hold it up that much.
No. And like as a movie, from a pure, forgetting all the incredible technological things they were trying out with this movie, from a pure movie-making point of view, this movie is not very well made. Like I said, it is so goddamn slow. I actually rewatched a few sequences of it this afternoon, but I watched it on 1.5 speed, and let me tell you, this movie is so much cooler in 1.5 speed. It flows. It's actually enjoyable to watch at that point. But otherwise, it is so slow. The cinematography is not... It's very boring. It's
Especially in the grid.
Especially in the grid.
I was just gonna say, in the grid, again, you spend 3/4 of the film in the grid. And... oh, God. It's not only the light cycling. How many scenes is that? It's one scene.
It's one at the beginning and then one when they're escaping.
But I don't even count the escaping because they're just riding around. And then when they're being chased by the... what'd you call them? Recognizer?
That's the 5th time you've asked me that. Yes, I think it's called recognizers.
When the recognizer's chasing them. It's like... it's not suspenseful. It's the one time when they do it, when it is some injection of pace. Pace! This film is fucking slow, like you said.
It's so slow.
You just need a bit of pace, a bit of stakes. And it's not even like... you can have a slow film as long as the stakes and you're building them up, but it doesn't even have that. And then when you don't have that and it's fucking slow as well, you just sat there and you're like, oh God, this is actually just boring. And I can't even get into anyone's performances. Like even Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is just, he's the dude.
Yep.
That's it. David Warner, fantastic. I didn't even know he played... I knew he played Salk and Dillinger. I didn't even know he played Master Controller, but he's having the most fun.
Yeah.
But other than him, Alan, come on. Laura,
no.
Come on.
No.
Ram.
Oh God, Ram.
Did not even care when he died.
Why is Ram in this movie?
To add some emotional weight, but you don't even feel it because you're not even connected enough with Ram to care when he dies. There's nothing that he does for you to care. But the first bullet has been shot.
The first bullet's been shot. I've got a bit more to talk about because not only is the pacing weird, the cinematography is just not interesting, and I think there's reasons for this, but it's not interesting. It's mostly in the grid, but I think it's throughout the movie. Everything is in the center of the frame. The subject of every shot is almost dead center of the frame, or like the center third of the frame. Everything happens in the center third of the frame. Occasionally you'll see someone running from the side of the frame, but then they just land in the center of the frame. It's all just focusing in on the center of the frame. It doesn't use the sides of the frame, it doesn't do interesting framing. Even when there's like multiple levels and you have a foreground and a background, like when they're in the jail cells, they're still just on either side of the center of the frame.
Yeah.
There's no use of the whole width of frame, and it's in widescreen. They could have done cool shit with it. A few times they do cool shit where they like have a diagonal facing thing. Like there's this one time they're climbing some big diagonal structure. Flynn and Yori, Tron and Yori, or whoever the fuck, they're climbing this big beam, and it's pure diagonal through the frame. and it kind of looks cool, and then never again, something like that. Use the whole frame, make some movement, make some momentum go through it. There's a lot of videos about how Mad Max Fury Road uses it makes your eyes follow the action of the frame in a way that makes the geography of the world track, and it makes the action flutter. This movie has no sense of geography inside of it. When there's one shot that made it clear in my head where Flynn is about to jump down and knock out one of the MCP soldiers, and you see him looking down from up above, but like it's just a dead center shot of him and he's looking down, and then he jumps down into the same spot of frame that he was just occupying. He just jumps, he lands from the top of the frame, dead center again, and knocks the guy out. There's no coverage, there's no other angles, there's no wide shot of him jumping down. It's just like he's up there, and then we move the camera down here, and then he falls into frame and does the thing. It's jarring, it doesn't look good, it's not only uninteresting, it's like actually it interrupts the flow of movement. It makes it difficult to follow things. I think the reason they did this was because they had to plan the backgrounds. They had to plan every setting of every shot that they did inside the virtual world. Because they were making so much of it with computers and stuff. But that meant that they didn't have a lot of creativity or wiggle room in the setups of the shots and the different angles and the geography of each scene and environment. And so it just becomes very, very restrained. Do you have anything about the cinematography?
No. I was just thinking, because I know they didn't have a big budget.
No.
And I'm trying to think whether that would have changed anything. But the story is still not good enough, and they don't do anything interesting. I don't think the team as a whole was. I think it's an ambitious story to try and execute.
Yeah.
And the execution wasn't great.
No. I think that if they had been able to make it more visually dynamic, then that could have carried the story. But because it's all so stilted, every aspect of it is so stilted, it needed either a better story or it needed better cinematography.
Yeah, but then it's a question of how did they film it? Like, you have to think 1982, how did they film it? I heard they didn't use any green screen.
No. So
are the sets real? Did they build the sets?
They're what sets? So getting into the behind the scenes of how this movie was made, which is one of the things I love most about it. I love this movie as a technological achievement, because when it came out, it was one of the first movies to heavily use CGI, even though there's only about 20 minutes of CGI in the movie itself. That's mostly like the light cycles, the recognizers, things moving around in the environments.
Yeah.
All the rest of it uses cell animation. So the reason I chose this movie after Mulan was because of animation stuff.
Yes.
CGI things, the way CGI had advanced from this movie to Mulan, it's interesting to compare. So what they did to film it, first of all, for anyone who hasn't seen Tron, go watch Tron. No, don't watch Tron. Look at some clips of Tron.
Yeah.
Look at stills from Tron, because it looks so interesting. If you just see a still image from the movie, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Because it's like this cyberscape. There's all these neon lights, and all the lines are like glowing. Like,
it tricks you.
Yeah.
Even the poster for the film, it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing it's Tron, and he's pointing outwards, and now that you know the film, you know that that's Laura. But then once you know the film and you see the poster, it's so misleading, the marketing.
Yeah.
It's so misleading, but it looks fucking cool.
The poster actually kind of looks like some of the unofficial Star Wars posters. I wonder if they ripped it off. but yeah, all the lines, all the neon, it glows. It's got this great sort of effect where in the original, in Star Wars, in New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, and in the prequels to an extent. These days, when they do lightsabers, they have made actual lightsabers that have real lighting in them that they can fight
Yeah, I've
with.
seen those. Yeah.
So it's all in camera, all on set, the lighting changes. In the original movies, they had to animate the lightsabers in over just an aluminum stick that they were waving around. And that gives it a sort of cool, slightly unearthly effect because you can tell that it's not real, but they've got this glow that's animating all around and they have to sort of put the shadows in the frame on the characters as they're waving stuff around. This movie does things similar to that. So all the neon highlights on the sets and on their costumes, they are all drawn on, rotoscoped on, or animated in, and animated using backlights. So they would create the animation cell over the frame that they had filmed of the live-action actors, paint all the stuff over it, the backgrounds, the lighting on the costumes. So the only thing they were actually filming were individual actors in their dorky Halloween costumes on a set. Basically, all the virtual stuff around them was created using animation.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hand animation, specifically. But yeah, they would have a backlight that they would put the cells on top of, which makes it all glow. So cool looking.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah. It's like I said, the limitations that they were working with to make it all work create some really cool aesthetics. Now, unfortunately, the technology wasn't all the way there yet, and the problem is that the shots inside Tron kind of look like the Harkonnens in Dune. You know how Denis Villeneuve used like an infrared camera to make Austin Butler look even more creepy and reptilian? It kind of looks like that because they're using untreated negatives or something. Untreated film negatives to make them look all shadowy and stark.
They shot it in black and white.
Yeah. And they really highlight the shadows and the contrasts between all of them. So that has that cool effect that they can then color over. But then all the environments that they're in don't have any realistic shading or lighting at all. Which is why it looks kind of cheap and doesn't look great when you have people shot in black and white with shadows moving around in an environment that has no shadows in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's why it makes them all look like they're on the same plane, even though there's people in foregrounds and backgrounds, like in the jail cells. It just looks like there's a slightly smaller person next to him, instead of him being farther away, because they couldn't do the scale of it. But in Tron Legacy, for instance, things have scale now. They have the power of CGI to create realistic lighting that moves over all the virtual environments. And like in the new trailer for Ares, the recognizer ship flying through, and you hear the whoosh that it makes as it goes by. It feels real now.
Yeah.
In this one.
But it goes back to the same thing of like, it's a great idea with some great elements.
Mm-hmm.
You do it today, you probably do it better. Just because the technology is just at that place to do it better.
Yeah. But if this movie was pitched these days, it probably wouldn't have been made.
Not this specific movie, but I think you build on some elements in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think the movie could get made.
It could get made if they change a few things. I'll get back to that real quick. The last thing about the animation is, for the computer animated stuff, they used a Taiwanese firm to do it, where basically they were sending them what they needed to do. The firm was inputting numbers into a computer. Literally, it's not like they were drawing anything. They were inputting grid coordinates into a computer, rendering all of it, sending it back to Hollywood, and they just had to hope that it worked right.
Oh, wow.
So as a multimedia project, this film is amazing, and the fact that they managed to coordinate it all and get it to look as good as it does is kind of incredible. But so what you said about this movie with some story changes could have been made. My final point. What a wild Matrix prequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie is basically the Matrix.
It is. It is.
It's reverse Matrix.
It is. And it's that's interesting things you could have done with it. The technological feat, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
But you sort of have to geek out on it to sort of appreciate it.
Yeah.
And to really connect with more people, the story just needs to be better. It just needs to be better. And I'm a story guy first. I need the story to be right first. The rest I can appreciate, but if the story ain't right, you've lost me. You've lost me. And that's a problem for me.
Sure.
And that was my biggest problem with the film. When I saw certain things that I thought, oh, that's an interesting thing, but you're not focused on that. You're focused on this, and this thing that you're focusing on isn't that interesting. That's a problem for me. That's a big problem for me. But it's Tron, 1982.
Fucking Tron. This movie rocks.
This movie is... Kinda regret watching it, y'all. I kinda regret watching it, y'all. I feel like I wasted my time. It's only an hour and a half, but I felt like I could have watched something else. Afterwards, I was like, I could have watched something else. and I watched Borderlands.
Yeah, you did.
I watched Borderlands.
I would rather watch Tron than Borderlands.
See, maybe it's because I didn't know what to expect.
For Borderlands or Tron?
Tron.
Uh-huh.
Borderlands, I expected it to be bad.
Yeah.
So when I know it's gonna be bad, everything I see, like, if I enjoy it, it's just a bonus, but I'm expecting it to be bad. Tron, I didn't know. I thought, they made a sequel to this. It must be good.
It's Tron. Everyone knows what Tron is. There must be something to it.
But now, after watching it, I just go, why? Why make a sequel to it? But it's clearly popular enough. And I think probably the best thing about it is that it came out at a time when people weren't aware of, like, technology.
Mm-hmm.
And as time went by, as technology improved, people went back to the movie and they gained that cult status just because it was like, oh, they made this film in 1982 and it's about technology and look what technology is and the potentials. And even now when we're talking about AI and you watch this film, in that aspect, it's ahead of its time in the way that it's... Maybe in 20, 30, 50 years' time, people will be watching back to this film and be like, fuck, that's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But at this time, no. I will watch Tron Legacy again.
Yeah.
I might regret it because I might regret. I think I'll enjoy the light cycling more.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, but I think I'll enjoy it more. And now that I know the world and the background, that'll be interesting as well. But Tron Ares, because now you've had 2 goes.
Mm-hmm.
You've had 2 goes at it. Can you stick the landing with a third one? Can you give me a great story? And do the cool shit.
Yeah. It's got Jared Leto in it, so we'll see what happens.
You and Jared Leto. For no reason whatsoever.
Has Jared Leto... Have you seen a movie where Jared Leto plays the main character and it's good?
I know why you specifically said that, because you knew if you said Jared Leto in a good movie, I would have said Dallas Buyers Club.
No, he pops up around the Dallas Buyers Club, Fight Club. A lot of club movies. Weirdly. But a movie where he's the main character and it's good.
Let me take a look at his filmography. I mean, I haven't seen. He's in Requiem for a Dream. Although I'm mixed on that film. I'm kind of mixed on that film.
And he's not the main character. He's Jared Leto is at his best when he is a force that gets pulled into the plot of the movie to cause chaos and be creepy. It's what he does in Blade Runner. It's what he does in Fight Club. It's what he does in real life movie productions.
Oh yeah, he's in American Psycho.
Yep.
He's in Phone
Great.
Booth.
Oh, is he?
Oh no, it's a deleted scene.
Oh no.
Mr. Nobody. Have I seen Mr. Nobody?
I have heard of that one.
No, I don't think I've seen Mr. Nobody.
Michael Morbius.
Definitely didn't watch that. Maybe I should.
It made $1 billion.
$1 billion. House of Uchi.
Oh, yep, no, that's another movie where he just gets pulled in with chaotic energy and is not the main character. Can't forget Joker.
So that's this week's.
That's Tron, everyone. Watch Tron, it rocks. Here's what you do. If you're ever hosting a party, put on Tron at 1.5 or 1.75 speed in the background.
Have some psychedelics whilst you do it.
No
You'll
one has
enjoy
to pay
it.
attention to it. It can just be on and be nice, ambient.
I think if you're on like shrooms, this film rocks.
Probably, yeah.
It fucking rocks, yo. Because you're just like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Yeah.
But that's it for this week. And as we've mentioned before, the shot has been fired. So we don't know how far this war will go on for. But I can already tell you now what the next pick is gonna be. And it's a film I have not seen since I was a child. And it will be interesting to revisit it again. Have you had a chance to see it yet?
Not yet, no.
It's Master of Disguise. I think it came out in 2002. And again, I saw it as a child. I don't know. I've been told it's not a good film.
Rotten Tomatoes, it is at 0.5 out of 5 stars. It is at 1% out of 100% on the tomato meter.
Listen, I watched it as a kid and I enjoyed it. I'll be watching it again as an adult, and it'll be interesting to see if I feel the same way. I might come back and I'll hate myself for having to sit through it. But we will find out. So Master of Disguise for next week, guys. But if you enjoyed it, good on you. Good on you. If you've listened this far, fantastic. Thank you. Listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. It's audio form only on YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe visuals one day. We'll see.
If we ever get to the point where we book an actual podcast studio with cameras and everything, might as well. But I mean, I'm not gonna spend extra time editing visuals into diatribes.
That's the thing. We're already too busy.
No.
Already too busy. Maybe if circumstances changed.
Yeah.
But until then, it's in audio form on YouTube. But I would suggest just put it in, turn it on, put on the headphones, and just relax. Even watch the movie as you listen to the podcast. The podcast is probably longer than the movie. You might even enjoy the podcast more than the movie.
Impossible.
Which is one of the rarities. One of the rare times you do it.
I can't imagine enjoying anything more than watching Tron 1982.
I don't know if you're serious or if that's sarcasm. I don't even know if you loved this film because you've shitted on this film.
I cannot emphasize this enough.
So
I
much.
fucking love this movie. The joy I feel watching Tron, indescribable.
I still cannot tell.
This movie is not well made. It's not very interesting. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But we'll be back next week.
Master of disguise.
Peace, yo.
Did you really love this film?
Yes. I mean it. Like all
Batman than me.
all the happiness that comes out, it's real.
You're Batman than me.